Welcome back to Design Bundle's YouTube channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Crystal, and today we're doing something a little bit different. If you guys watch our lives, you guys know that I always do a Q&A at the end. Well, today we're going to do a Q&A based off of some of these questions that we get here on Facebook and YouTube and things like that on TikTok. We're going to start compiling these together so you guys have a video to reference to for specific questions, whether it's for Cricut and things like that. Now, today's a little bit of mixture between Cricut and Sublimation, as well as some of our Plus membership questions. So let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, so let's go over question number one. Question number one, is it possible to use infusible ink on these? Now, what they were referring to is our magnet sublimation tutorial. So anything that is you're able to sublimate on, you're able to use infusible ink. Ultimately, if you guys are new to Cricut or sublimation with the infusible ink or sublimation, infusible ink is sublimation. So what Cricut has actually done is they just print them, so they're pre-printed sheets. So if I was to take my sublimation printer right now and I printed a pattern on paper, that's exactly what infusible ink is, except for they put it on a backing that you're able to load into your Cricut so you can cut it. So what you can do is take some of our SVGs, really fun SVGs, and you guys can cut those out to have some really cool infusible ink patterns and things like that. So anything, whether it is a coffee mug or whether it is the magnets, as you were referring to, if it's able to sublimate, you're able to use infusible ink. So I really hope that answers your question. Now, question number two, if you will, it's not really a question, but it was a little bit of feedback. So this was somebody's opinion. And so what I'm going to do is try to give mine. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. So it says tinfoil does not ever sharpen a blade. It is good to clear off debris for sure, but not sharpen. I really wish people would stop spreading this myth. So this is actually not a myth. This is 100% true. And if you guys actually do a little bit of a Google research, you guys are going to find tons of crafters like myself. There's tons of blogs out there on this and lots of information that it does indeed sharpen. Now, when we say sharpen, this does not replace needing to purchase a new blade. So it's not going to sharpen it all the way back to the beginning point that it was when you first purchased it. This is going to prolong a little bit longer for somebody that may be frugal and wants to get a little bit more bang for their buck in that blade, or somebody that has not had time to order one online or through the store, so it can prolong a little bit more to make it through a craft. So it's basically just a little bit of a tip, not necessarily replacing purchasing a new blade. So just to kind of clear that up just a little bit. Now, if you also Google, you're going to see something where it says that you actually cannot sharpen scissors with tinfoil. So I have found this over time to be true. Now, whenever I sharpen my scissors to get it to work for me, say for example, my scissors are super dull and I don't have time to take them down to somebody to sharpen them for me, or I'm needing to purchase a new pair, I'll take a piece of tinfoil and I'll actually cut it a few times. I have tried taking it down the blade, and that doesn't help as much as just kind of cutting it a few times with that tinfoil. And what that does, the same thing as the Cricut blade, is going to prolong those scissors a little bit longer. Not very long, but it does allow me to finish out my project. And I may have to go in there a couple times, but for scissors, yes, I wouldn't really recommend. But when it does come to our little blades, it does help to sharpen that. But like I said, everybody is to their very own opinion. And if it doesn't work for you, then I wouldn't suggest trying it again. But if it does, great. So for somebody that has not tried this before, what I recommend is, if it's a blade that you're ready to toss out in the trash, and before you switch it out, go ahead and test it out. Take a piece of tinfoil. We have a video that we've done here on the channel. I'll have it up above or down below. And what you can do is just kind of squeeze up a piece of tinfoil and then poke it several times. And this is going to temporarily sharpen it a little bit more to keep it going. So then pop it back in your machine, test out a cut or so, and tell me what you think. So come back here if you guys have tested it. Let me know your thoughts so we can kind of compile those. Because you have to remember, over the years, things change. So for example, as a community, as the crafting community, we may be doing this, but over time we figure out that it doesn't work that good. So then we kind of trash that plan. And that's just some things that happen, and that's totally okay. So I hope that this kind of helps cover that a little bit. All right, so for question number 3, should you ever have to re-oil the rods in your machine? The star wheels on my Maker are so hard to move that my husband has to move them for me every time. I am so sorry that you are going through this. I'm going to drop my camera down so I can show you. All right, so now that I've got my machine up here, I'm going to show you how you can do this and what you need to consider whenever you guys have a die cutting machine, and you may need to oil these little wheels here. Now, I don't think that Cricut has, and don't quote me on this, but I don't think they've ever really put anything out there about re-oiling your machines. And I wouldn't really get in there and re-oil all of this stuff. But when it comes to your star wheels, what you can use is sewing machine oil. So if you guys are familiar with sewing machines, you guys know that you have to oil all those little, tiny areas with that oil every so often. Now, depending on what machine you're using, for example, I have a really big industrial size embroidery machine, and I have to oil it consistently in all of these different areas. Now, one of my absolute favorite oils that I want to recommend for a sewing machine is linked down below. And it's really cool because it has what looks like a needle on one end. It kind of reminds me of a kind of like a bicycle pump, the little piece on the end. And then it's almost like it's not a syringe, but it's this little glass tube or plastic tube. And you can kind of squeeze that and it'll let out the most teensy, tiniest of dot. It's just so easy to store in your craft supplies. You could even store it down here if you wanted to. And what you're going to do is just squeeze one little dot and then move this guy back and forth. And that is going to loosen those up for you. So you can definitely do that. But like I said, the safest way to do that with your machine is using sewing machine oil. And once again, my favorite one is linked down below. Now you can purchase, or if you own a sewing machine and they have those little bottles, you can definitely use that. Feel free to use that. But I would just use the most tiniest bit. And I do recommend using that sewing machine oil, like I said. All right, so question number 4. How did you get such a large print and cut space on Cricut? Mine maxes out at 6x9. Now, there's two things that you could possibly be referencing. I know at one point in time, I had done a tutorial, and looking back, I do believe that Cricut had an issue with one of their updates. So, Cricut updates all of the time. And I think during one of my tutorials, it showed a little bit of a bigger print and cut area, and it truly is not. So I have the exact same print and cut area as you, but what you may be referring to as well is one of our silhouette tutorials. So whenever it comes to silhouette, they do have a bigger print and cut area than we do for Cricut. So it could be that you're referring to. And if it is specifically for Cricut, you may be referring to that tutorial, like I said, and it definitely was a glitch in the Cricut design space. But like I said, if it's not, it's definitely silhouette, and they do have a bigger area. Question number 5, can I sell printed sublimation designs with my Plus designs? So if you guys are a Plus member, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys really quick so I can show you what I'm talking about. For example, this question, what they're asking is, I have this design, I've purchased it through the Plus membership. Can I print it out on a sublimation paper and sell them? So something similar to if I was to, print out with a white toner or something like that, how you can print those and sell them, and then maybe boutiques are putting them on their own t-shirts. And the answer is yes. For our Plus designs, they come with commercial use. So that's something that's super exciting about our Plus membership, is that it does come with those commercial license. Sometimes you have to pay hundreds of dollars to be able to use certain files that you purchase for commercial use. Not all files. So anytime you ever purchase a file, make sure that it comes with commercial use to be able to do things like this. But like I said, with all of our Plus members, you guys have access to use it for commercial use. So that's really exciting. And like I said, whether it's sublimation or whether you guys have a white toner, you can have those pre-printed designs and sell them. Question number 6, can you please recommend a permanent printable size white vinyl sheets suitable for outdoor? We just purchased a cameo board, congratulations, and want to make graphic decals on our side-by-side. I can't find any Oracle. Now, if you're looking for Oracle, I do recommend that you check online because there is lots of places. I'll link some down below for you guys. And if you can't find some, Caesar also makes one. They're easy PSV white. You can also print on that as well. And that one I do recommend as well. Now, you can check locally sometimes at, Michael's and Hobby Lobby. They do sell some 8x10 printable vinyl sheets. So definitely check that out as well. But I do have the Oracle and the Caesar linked down below for you. Question number 7. May I ask, what do you use to share your screen? I know it's not a craft question, but I would love to learn. Well, I am excited to share. I actually use a Mac computer, and if you hold down your Shift, Command, and 5, so it'd be Shift, Command, 5, you're going to hold them all down at the same time. This is going to pop up a screen. You're going to have access to either take a screenshot of your computer, or if you want to do a recording, it's going to give you options to just record a certain area or record the whole screen. So several different options there, but it's Shift, Command, 5. And then whenever you're done, you're just going to hit the stop button right up there at the top. Super duper easy to use. Like I said, that's for a Mac. Now, if you guys are using a Windows, I definitely recommend using something like Zoom. You know, the Zoom for Zoom meetings. You guys can do screen share there and then record it as well. So that's another way to do it. All right, so question number 8. Can I use DesignScape with any Plus membership? And the answer is no. Now, if you guys are new and you're wondering what is DesignScape, let me go ahead and show you real quick. I'm going to bring up the screen. Let me go ahead and pop right into DesignScape. So this is our program. This is for the Gold Plus members. So we have 3 different tiers for our Plus members, and the Gold tier, which is our highest tier, this is a perk that you get. So with that perk, you guys have access to use DesignScape. It's super amazing. And if you guys are new to DesignScape and you're like, what is DesignScape? It's a really amazing program that you're able to create your sublimation files, your SVG files. This is similar to something like Procreate or even CorelDRAW. There's, your Adobe, those really expensive that you would have to pay hundreds of dollars. It comes completely free for our Gold Plus members. So you do have to be a Gold Plus member to have access to this. And like I said, it's amazing whether you're using it for your sublimation printers or whether you guys are using it with your Glowforge, creating those SVGs to use with Cricut. So highly recommend you guys check it out if you're a Gold Plus member. Question number 9. I want to know how to clean the carriage. I need to see if there is a piece of something sticking to the sensor because the print and cut does not work anymore. My Maker is only an SVG cutter now, no stickers. I am so sorry to hear this. So let me go ahead and walk you through that really quick. Now, we have done a complete tutorial on how to clean your Cricut machine. I'm going to have it linked above or down below, but I'm going to briefly explain it to you. So what you can do to clean this carriage area is you can take some canned air. So what I like to do is take these pieces out here, open up these doors, take your canned air. You've got to be at a little bit of a distance and you're going to really blow this thing out. So I really like to get back behind here. And then if you're talking about your carriage, you're just going to really blow this out. Now, if you have the Maker, you know that you have that little, it's not a star wheel, but the adapter pieces where you have your gear, if you will. Those gears, I really like to blow all of that stuff out. I just use canned air for that. Now, if you guys are talking about your little sensor, as you were saying here, what you can do is take an alcohol wipe. So you can definitely just take a little alcohol wipe there and clean that right up. I clean my entire machine with a baby wipe or a Clorox wipe, but you can definitely just clean this up with a little alcohol wipe to clean that screen, and that may be your issue there. But definitely just feel free to blow this out with some of that canned air to see if that don't help you out as well. All right, so for our very last question, question number 10, how does the summer water bottle with sublimation hold up? And the answer is amazing. Whenever it comes to sublimation, it is very different from adhesive vinyl. So if you guys are in the crafting community, you know we've been playing around with adhesive vinyl for years. We throw it on our coffee mugs, and then we are having the questions of can we throw it in the dishwasher, hand wash it, all those things. When it comes to sublimation like this, it's not going anywhere. So this is a coffee mug that we did in a live a while back. Here you guys can see those super fun designs. This is going to stay on here. This is going to outlast the coffee mug. So what it has done is it has become one with the coffee mug here, whether it is on our metal water bottles or whatever it is that you sublimate. It is going to last the life of the product. So it's not going to fade. It's not going to do anything but just stay there. So it's super, super nice. And that's why it's such an amazing product to use, especially if you're selling something, because I can now throw this in the dishwasher. I don't have to worry like I do with adhesive vinyl. So I hope that really answers your question. So you guys let me know down below if you guys enjoyed this Q&A. If you do, leave some more questions. If you have any questions for us, whether it's about our Plus membership, it's about our files, or maybe it's about Cricut or Silhouette or Sublimation or Glowforge, drop those questions down below. I'll go through them and get them, and then we'll do more of these Q&A style videos. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please hit that like button down below and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.